Shalom, shalom. Kal Halayam La Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles who wear millstone and rule well and teach sound doctrine. And a strong shalom to the hopeful elect. This is Brother Liashka come, Lord willing, back with another edifying lesson through the Holy Spirit. As you can see on the screen, double check if you can see it. All right, kind of. As you can see on the screen, this article from RT News. I got a precept, and then whatever else the Lord allows. The water Yahawashi give me the spirit to do this lesson. Isaiah 62:6 says, I set watchmen upon thy walls, O Yerushalayim, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence, and give him no rest till he establish and till he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. So it's our job, it's hopeful elect, and Lord willing, the prophets of Yahawashi to continue to warn the people. We look in the news, we see shit in our everyday life, and we prophesy. I did a lesson on the ruble not too long ago, but this is a relatively short article. I'm gonna breeze through it and bring out a couple precepts. Lord willing, this will be edifying. It says the Russian ruble reached a 4-year high on the US dollar and a 7-year high against the euro on Friday. The ruble is being propelled by capital controls, the new ruble-based gas payment scheme, and looming corporate tax dues, which are pushing up domestic demand for the currency. So this is just like, as the title alludes to, another way that the US dollar is going to crash and lead to all-out turmoil over here. It says reaching 57.67 rubles against the dollar at 8.13 represents the ruble's strongest position since March 2018, according to data from the Moscow exchange. The ruble also gained nearly 5% on the euro, with the exchange rate reaching below 60 rubles per euro. According to Bloomberg, the Russian currency has become the world's best performing currency this year, despite its sharp drop in April, sparked by unprecedented economic sanctions placed on Russia. Right, the conflict between Russia and the Ukraine. However, it has since strengthened due to measures introduced by Russia's central bank and government. What are those measures? Requesting that people who buy from them use their currency. You know what I'm saying? Setting up small alliances and not letting people know who's a participant. Just petty stuff. But ultimately, it's not petty. It's, the will of the Lord. It's contributing to an Egyptian against Egyptian because Russians are just Edomites who speak another language. It says, as part of the regulator's capital controls, Russian citizens and residents are allowed to buy euros, US dollars, or other European currencies at the official exchange rate, but cannot withdraw the foreign funds until September 9th. So as well as like the beginning of the fall, really much end of the summer. It says people who held USDs and euro accounts at Russian banks before March 9th are allowed to withdraw $10,000 or its equivalent for the period up through September 9th. However, Russian citizens can buy any other foreign currencies, and ruble withdrawals are not limited. So that's a chess move. It says the upcoming tax payment is also pushing the ruble higher, as it traditionally requires extra conversion of foreign currency to rubles. And that's pretty much it. One precept. Isaiah 19:2 says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. So this is the leading stages of Russia against America. The deeper and deeper we get into it, when money's involved, eventually people are going to fight, even on the low level. Some somewhere in Matthew 24. The Lord placed that Soviet spirit back on them. We know the scripture putting the hooks into the jaws, but the war hasn't happened yet. We're witnessing, the beginning stages. Real quick, straight to the point. Matthew 24:7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And we're witnessing that today. 2022, the year of Yahawashi turning things up. The state of our economy right now, we experience a lot of inflation. We keep harping on the gas prices, but the food supply as well, because this is the rest of 2021 supply dwindling away. The stuff that was meant for 2022 and on, that's out there stuck on them ships. That's the stuff that was being held up by the trucking stoppage, or whatever term you want to use. The pestilences, they dropping variants like retros, all this leading towards the end, towards Jacob's trouble. In verse 8, it says, all these are the beginning of sorrows, since I quoted it. It's right here. Ezekiel 38:4 says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horses and horsemen, all them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. And we know from a couple verses up that this is talking about, Russia. This Ezekiel 38:2, it says, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech, and Tubal, and prophesy against him. So Gog and Magog, that represents Russia. There were no such thing as Russians back then. Just like when we refer to Mount Seir in the scriptures, that's Esau. There was no white man back then. So verse 4 again, it says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So a buckler and a shield, those are things to protect you. And a sword, that's your offense, your defense. So this is talking about war. This war is not going to be fought with swords. It's going to be fought with a modern day sword, which is the gun. And this is all divine. To prove that, Proverbs 21:1, it says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, Yahawashi, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So the fact that, Putin feels how he feels right now, and Joe Biden feels how he feels right now, is all the Lord's will. Russia going at it with Ukraine, but Biden is sending money to aid them in the war. Or has sent, rather. It's no coincidence this is all leading to JT. I had another precept, so like it, bear with me. A little bookmark fell out. Leave us a second, Ezra. This is 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 14. It says, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out, to consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth should not return again. Woe is me, who would deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So all the things that we're experiencing right now, on a macro and a micro scale, they're scourges for amendment. And Jake still don't consider, the other nations really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. We're addressing you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Seminole, and Native Indians, as the white man call it. Those are all bywords and proverbs, or really just bywords. But nevertheless, all these things are happening as scourges of amendment. And to prove, that the things written in this book, whether they were written thousands of years ago or not, they're happening. And they're happening because Yahawashi says so, as a matter of fact. Isaiah 55, verse 8, it says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower, and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it." So that's pretty plain. Yahawashi shall prophesy of war, pestilence, all out death and destruction. So it's coming. Habakkuk chapter 2. In verse, I start at the top. It says, "I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it." Right, a prudent man. Let me see. Proverbs 22:3, real quick. It says, "A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished." So we out here to warn the prudent, the people who are taking heed to sound doctrine. Start with Elder Apostle Tahar on down, and trying to make changes. And that same mindset as the prophet Ezra was in 2 Ezra 16. It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days." He's seen it in a vision, but we actually living through it. And what's proof? This article, the baby formula shortage, the gas prices, even local news, people dying. The murder rate is constantly increasing, and people on a low level, people not really thinking in the spirit, don't really notice the different ways people are dying. It's getting more horrendous. A lot of crimes are happening in broad day. The wickedness is increasing. You got to think about things, within your own community and beyond your backyard to really get the scope, because that really paints the picture, and that shows how Yahawashi is dealing. Once you get, a good foundation in the scriptures and start using your spiritual eyes and see what's going on, that's how you're able to filter things and apply the scriptures. But continuing on, I read verse 2 again. It says, "And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it." So what may seem like a complicated issue, like a 3-year-old dying, like why would the Lord do that? I even seen a post on TikTok today. The Lord fed the multitude with the loaves. He walked on water, but he couldn't stop slavery. That's why it's up to the Lord's men to make it plain upon tables to break it down. We tell them in that case, Deuteronomy 28. We tell them how we went off by serving these other gods, and then as a result of that, we was sent away captives into all these other nations, and under Esau Edom, this is the last captivity. And this thing, like the not the thing, Salakia, the article dealing with the rubles, the situation going on with Ukraine. These are things that indicate the end of this devil's kingdom, because it says, if Satan casts out Satan, eventually that kingdom is going to fall, roughly paraphrasing. So that's why it's up to the Lord's men, his prophets, to make things plain upon tables and break it down. Verse 3, it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Right? Like it says in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, like, everything has an appointed time, a beginning and an end. And also in the book of Job, it said that this devil, his kingdom has a bound set on it, and he cannot pass. And we're actually witnessing with our own eyes the demise of the so-called white man. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 2. I started 24. It says, abide still, O my people, and take thy rest, for thy quietness shall come. Nourish thy children, O thy good nurse, establish their feet. So you get rooted in his word. It says, as for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I require them from among thy number. And that's referring to the prophets. It says, be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord. My hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. Be joyful, O thou mother, with thy children, for I will deliver thee, saith the Lord. So even though all this bullshit going on, and there's more to come, pursuant to Jeremiah and Daniel 12, the Lord is going to be that buckler and the shield for the elect. And even though it's going to be famine and pestilence, people are going to be losing their jobs, the elect is going to thrive in a system that's crashing. Not my words, thus saith the Lord. So Lord willing, this is edifying. Once again, Kal Halayam La Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of great millstone who will well and teach sound doctrine, and a strong shalom to the hopeful elect. Kwame Yasharallah, above.